As indie comic creators, we wear many different hats. Whether you're the writer, the artist, the editor, what's the most important skill you need to learn though? It's how to market your books. Marketing, hands down, is the most important thing you need to learn. You can have the next Watchmen, the next Dark Knight Returns, the greatest art of all time, the greatest story of all time, but if you don't have eyes on your book, then what is it good for? I mean, obviously, if you just want to make comics for a good time, then go at it. But if you want to have some sort of monetary gain, some sort of recognition for what you're doing, you need to learn how to get your book in front of the eyes you want it to get in front of. So today we're going to learn from one of the master marketers in comic book history, and that's Todd Mcfarlane, the Todd Father, the greatest to ever do it. If you don't know, which I feel like you should know, Todd Mcfarlane is a legendary comic book creator who gained popularity from working on Spider-Man and continued to stay in comic book prominence by helping co-found Image Comics and creating his character-owned comic Spawn. Todd Mcfarlane is worth hundreds of millions of dollars now. He was able to do all this and continue to stay in popularity even to this day, with Spawn being one of the best-selling comics Image Comics puts out. Today, we're going to look at a few examples of Todd's marvelous marketing ploys that helped them gain this popularity, stay popular, and so on. First, the $3 million baseball. If you're a fan of Todd's and watched a few of his interviews, you've probably heard this story before. In 1998, McFarlane, who was a huge baseball fan, he even played college baseball himself, went to an auction, bought Mark McGwire's then record-breaking 70th home run baseball. Doing this helped Todd get so much coverage from ESPN, Time Magazine, and so forth. Todd also claims this auction and publicity from buying the baseball helped him get a licensing deal with the MLB and the NHL through his, at the time, Todd Toys, now called McFarlane Toys, line.
Todd Toys, we're out to plaster the competition.
Ploy number 2, the Spawn Mobile. Another great marketing scheme Todd used was a dual painted Spawn car he would take to comic conventions. One side was white with the Spawn logo, the other side was black with flames on it. McFarlane then would survey attendees at the con and told them to vote on which side they liked best so he could finish the paint job on the car with the side that got the most votes. But he had no intentions of actually finishing the car. What Todd was doing was garnishing attention to his booth and engaging with his audience. He would take this car from con to con and use it as a scheme to just get eyes on what he was doing at the convention. So just to get people to recognize the Spawn logo, adding to the brand recognition of Spawn, and also getting people to remember the logo, and whenever they would go to their local comic book shop, they'd be like, oh, I've seen that comic, that logo before at this convention, and I met the creator of this said comic at that convention. Maybe I should check out the comic book. Ploy number 3, the Spawn issue 30 controversy. So with this one, I don't think Todd really had any intention of creating a controversy with this issue of Spawn, but he surely engaged with the controversy and benefited from the controversy, right? Back in 1995, on the cover of this particular issue of Spawn, aka Al Simmons, was hanging from a noose. And if you don't know, Al Simmons is a black man. Also in this issue, Spawn has a run-in with the KKK and defends a black family from the KKK. This comic ruffled some feathers due to this display of racism and racially charged violence, so much so that the issue made a local news segment a current affairs.
Parents never did care much for comic books, but the hottest comic book out today has some moms and dads really fuming. It's called Spawn. The subjects are anything from sexism to racism. And most surprising, it's the #1 bestseller.
A local mother was so upset with the comic, she tried to get it banned from all their local comic book shops and also banned nationwide.
The comic book so enraged this Midwestern mom that she became a crusader herself, launching a one-woman campaign to get Spawn off the shelves.
Obviously, this didn't happen, but what did happen was more eyes were put on to Spawn and on McFarlane as a creator, which obviously helped with the growing popularity of Spawn due to its more edgy look from being on this news segment and stuff like that. So what can we learn from these master marketing schemes from McFarlane? What I get from a lot of these schemes is you need to make a spectacle of what you're doing. And we're talking about comics, right? So you need to make a spectacle of your comics, learn how to garnish attention on your books and get more eyes outside of your current fan base on your book, right? Obviously, Todd Mcfarlane was really well off by the time he was putting these Spawn issues out, so he could afford to go and buy $1 million baseballs and do dual painted sports cars and stuff like that. But there's so many ways you can market, and to make this even easier, I broke down some things that I've learned in my last couple years of becoming a comic book creator on marketing and stuff like that, and I'm going to tell you right now what they are. So the first thing is pretty easy and obvious. You need to build a platform. So go on Instagram, go on YouTube, go on Facebook, go on any of these social media platforms and start posting and start engaging with the people on those platforms, right? If somebody comments on your post, reply back to them. If somebody shares your post, thank them, and even share other creators' posts, message people and stuff like that, and help build the fan base around whatever you're doing, right? The bigger you get your audience on these platforms, the easier it'll be in the long run once you start putting out your Kickstarter or try to get published, or you start going to these conventions. You want people to know that you're there. You can post on your Instagram story or on your TikTok, and more likely you'll have more people come and engage with you in real life than online, right? Number 2 would be get trendy and break the mold. So get trendy, go on these platforms and start doing these hashtags, doing these challenges, and start doing all these TikToks and Reels, YouTube Shorts, and because these videos, they might be not the most fun thing to do and kind of annoying, but it'll also help garnish more attention towards your page, right? Because that's what these short form videos do now on TikTok and Instagram. They're more put out with the algorithm to help you build your page, help build your audience, right? So, also you can do Inktober, you participate in the draw yourself hashtags that bigger creators do and help bring some audience back to your page. You can do fan art. That's really big. Like I know there's a lot of pages on Instagram that get popular by doing like a lot of Naruto fan art, stuff like that. That really helps a lot. The third thing is you need to know your audience. You need to know who you're making these comic books for. Who are you writing these books for? Are they for kids? Are they for teenagers? Are they for boys, for girls? You need to figure out who you're writing this for and gear it towards that audience. With the Spawn issue 30 controversy, that's like a prime example of knowing your audience, because the mom wasn't Todd's audience. She wasn't the audience that Todd was going for. But if you watch the news clip, all the people who were defending Spawn were teenagers, young men who were saying like big things about Spawn.
And kids from 12 to 35 say he's more true to life than any other superhero.
I think he's more realistic than most comic heroes, because they're no real good guys and bad guys in the world anymore. They're just people trying to do the right thing.
I think it teaches little kids a lot more about real life as opposed to, just kind of bam, sock kind of comic book. Situations that happen to catch this character, they're incredible.
Saying that adults don't understand Spawn, that it's not for them, ... And even Todd Mcfarlane expresses the same things in the news clip.
I just resent the parents don't give the children credit, and worse than that, intelligence. I'm not afraid to take on subjects that basically Superman or Batman wouldn't, because I think it's a slice of life.
He was engaging with his audience and knew who his audience was and who he was writing the books for. So that's just another thing you need to think about before you start working on these projects. So the last tip that I have is have quality work and stay consistent. Everybody knows what quality work is, right? Everybody knows what good art is and what shit art is, right? You need to know where you're at with your skill level, right? And improve on it. Even if you are at a very high skill level, you should always want to continue to improve on something you feel that you're weak at, right? That's with anything in life, but specifically with your art. But you can do all this work to get all this engagement and all these people to come look at your page and your stuff, but if they don't like what they see when they get there, what's the point? So you need to make sure you have quality art. You need to make sure you're always trying to improve constantly practicing, constantly writing, constantly drawing. And the second part of this is you need to stay consistent putting out work. The thing that I hate the most about indie creators, indie comics, is that they'll put out one project and it'll take them years to put out the next project, and that is just the most annoying thing ever. You can't build an audience doing that. You can't keep an audience if you're just gonna put out one book and never put out the next book. If you're gonna promote one book and never finish it, keep putting stuff out. And that's how the world is now. That's what the game is. You need to keep pushing, keep putting stuff out, and that's how you're gonna keep people engaged with what you're doing. If you don't do that, then You know, nobody's gonna care. Nobody's gonna want to keep up with you unless you're already an established name and already an established artist, somebody who's already trustworthy and has built that trust in order to take that break. Like the artist of Hunter x Hunter, and people understand that he has all these health issues, but prior to all that, he put out, you know, Yu Yu Hakusho. He put out all those previous chapters of Hunter x Hunter. So when he does put out a new chapter, people understand that what the deal is, you know, why there's so many breaks, why there's so many inconsistencies with this work, because he's already an established writer. You, me, us, we're not yet. We're still on the grind. We're still on the come up. You can't forget that you're grinding it out, and you need to keep grinding out every day if you really want to be serious about making comics, being in the comic industry, you know, and whatever the case is. So that's just my last little tidbit. It's Roho Kobe here. I appreciate you guys for watching. If you like my videos, like the video, comment, subscribe, let me know what you guys want to see next. Check out the links in the bio. My webcomics in there. Hope you know, would like for you guys to check it out and engage and stuff like that. I really appreciate you guys for watching. See you guys in the next one. Peace.